Can we confirm if my screen is visible?
I can see the
Yes.
screen.
Oh, okay, cool. So let's quickly check up on ourselves. How are we doing today? How do you feel today? I'm sure we all know how it works. You can scan the QR code on the screen, and you can also use the code, the hashtag 1109513. Let's join and let's share together how we are all doing, how we feel, and then we can start on the basis of that. That's good to know. If we are having any issue at all joining on the Slido poll, please let us know. We're going to need it like we usually do. We are still going to do our quiz today, and I encourage everyone to be part of it. No one has yet joined. Is there a problem? Are you finding it any hard to join? That's good to know. You're doing great. It's very nice to know. We only have one person who has been able to express to us how he or she is doing. We have 1 more minute to finish up on this phase while we go into the detail of today's class. So we're going to give others 1 more minute to join and share with us how they feel today. Okay, so today's business. All right. So today we are going to be looking at basically looking at Excel dashboards. And on the agenda today, we are going to be looking at an overview of Excel dashboards. We look at the benefits of using Excel dashboards. Take a look at design principles also for effective dashboards. Building blocks of Excel dashboards, talk about that a little bit. Then we are going to demonstrate. You are going to have to prepare an Excel dashboard from the scratch. Then we might talk about the best practices and tips, which is also going to be part of the design principle anyway. Then if you have question and answer, we'll go into it. Usually what we usually do is as we go ahead in the class, we go to our Excel to practicalize, we come back to the presentation. So today is going to be a little bit different. We are going to finish with the slide first before we go into actually preparing an Excel dashboard. And that is because a huge chunk of the class today is going to be dependent on the practical, not exactly the theory. So let's get into it. Overview of Excel dashboards. What is Excel dashboards basically? If you remember, we've been talking about visualization, visual representation, and all of that as part of things that we could do with Excel and part of the important features that Excel actually prides of. All right. So the same thing with Excel dashboard. Excel dashboard is just like an advanced level of pivot chart. All right. So it's basically visual representation, of your data where you can actually get insights by querying it just as it sounds. The purpose of it is basically to be able to summarize complex data sets into easily understandable format for decision making. Don't forget that we've always emphasized from the first day of the class, your data is important. And the importance of the analysis that you're likely going to be doing is so as to make informed decision for business, growth, for business, boom, for business strategy, for business positioning. So it's not just you just having access to data and then doing whatever you want to do with it. No, the goal of any data professional most of the time is to able to get, important insight from the data, which can be used for business decision. And that is the purpose that is basically said here. The components of this include what? Charts, graphs, tables, and interactive elements. All of these are the things that we are going to check out when we start building our dashboard, basically. All right. Benefit of using Excel dashboards. The first one is that it enhances data visibility. Now, you will agree with me that in most of the time, when you look at data, it doesn't really show you anything until you start doing, further investigation to understand it. But when it comes to the dashboard, basically, it helps you to be able to visualize your data, to be able to see your data, to be able to, query your data in a way that you can actually have an understanding of what is going on, not exactly just by looking at something being 20,000, another thing being name, another whatever it is. So it helps you to, clear visualization of key metrics and trends within your data. Second thing is that it helps facilitate decision making. Don't forget, we've always said this over and over. The primary importance of any data analysis or any data analytics job, even if it's any data professional job, is to be able to help in decision making for whatever it is that the goal of that task is at that particular point in time. So it helps facilitate decision making, which means that it enables quick analysis and identification of patterns. And you can remember that yesterday when we were talking about pivot charts, we were looking at how we could use slicers to quickly take a look at informations in ways that we are going to be able to understand it better. So that's what also Excel dashboards, that's one of the things that it helps to do. Promotes collaboration. Yes, it is true. Your Excel dashboard promotes collaboration because most of the time after you are done with building your dashboard, you tend to share with other stakeholders or department heads or department, personnel that will likely use those information and then convert it into actionable steps to actually get the KPIs that the business set out to get. All right. So it promotes collaboration. You'll be able to collaborate with, say, for example, this time sales department, the other time marketing department, the other time stakeholders, the other time executive. It helps because most of the time you don't even just do the analysis only. You even tend to present it also. That's part of it. So it helps you in sharing and understanding, of data across different teams. So it promotes cross-team collaboration in general. Saves time. Yes, it does save time. And how does it save time? It helps to automate reporting processes and reduces manual efforts. Just like we said yesterday, when we were looking at our pivot chart again, you could see that there was a whole lot of things we could do within seconds. Instead of having to be doing formulas and calculations of, I want to get this, let me start doing these things. It helps you to save time and helps you to actually build productivity. Design principles for effective dashboards. And this is one part that I would really, really love that we take very seriously. What actually makes you stand out, as an analyst most of the time is how you are able to communicate your findings. So, and within these findings, when it comes to dashboard building, there are some key principles you have to be able to put in mind so as to help you to be able to communicate your findings better. And people who are looking at it, who might not necessarily understand your industry jargons, can relate to it, understand it, and make meaningful points out of it. So one of those design principles is clarity. In many cases, I've seen designs where you'll see designs where there are just too many colors and too many ambiguity within a dashboard. Whether Excel dashboard, Power BI dashboard, or even if you're using Python, I've seen it in many cases. So make sure that you always keep your dashboard simple and focus on key insights that can actually, interest the business and helps in taking decision. Second thing on the list is consistency. Now, consistency basically dwells within your arrangement and the elements that you actually are using with your dashboard. What are these, consistency? Maintain uniformity in color, for example, in shapes, for example, in, put all these design elements in such a way that, in short, it even includes even in fonts, the fonts you use, put consistency so that it's not as if in one part of your dashboard, they are saying a Calibri. In another part, they are saying Times New Roman. In another part, try and keep consistency, across the dashboard design. Interactivity, and I think this is another very important one. Interactivity. It is very important that you incorporate interactive features for exploration and analysis. And I would also like to reference yesterday's class when we were talking about the pivot chart, and then we added slicer where you could just click on one thing and automatically we look at it. So people can interact with it. Stakeholders who only understand the key terms that you've used for each of the sections of your dashboard could actually say, okay, if I'm interested in this and I click on this, it can be interactive. I can see this. Make it interactive as much as you can. Visual appeal, that's another thing. Visual appeal also includes the use of color, the fonts, the layout to, enhance readability and engagement, and so on and so forth. Please always keep this in mind. Building blocks of Excel dashboards. What are the building blocks? These things are things that we've talked about over and over again within the course of this Excel masterclass. The first one is data preparation. Now, there is no analysis. Analysis is not possible without you having your data, which covers the data gathering and collection and all of that. So when the data is already collected, what are the blocks, the building blocks that you need to actually build with Excel dashboards? You have to prepare your data. You remember that even yesterday, the data that we used yesterday, we actually had to prepare and clean the data for us to be able to use it. And we also demonstrate the likeliness of what will happen if we did not clean the data. So data preparation, clean your data, organize your data. Organization in terms of how you want it to actually, look like, in terms of what should come first, what should come after. In terms of, say, for example, you have a date, and your date does not start from the beginning or from the end, but you have a date that says April 8th year, then the next one says April 12th, and then the next one say March 18th. You have to strategically organize your data in such a way that you'll be able to get the best out of it. And also format your data for analysis, depending on what you want to do. Don't forget also that yesterday when we were talking about the pivot chart, we had to first of all convert our data into a pivot table for it to be useful. So if we did not format it that way, and then we want to go ahead and start charting, we might not exactly be able to get our desired outcome. So depending on what exactly it is the goal of the analysis that you want to do, depending on the goal of the dashboard that you want to build, you have to also make sure that your data is formatted in such a way that it can be properly use for the end goal. Dashboard layout. Chart selection. For chart selection, like when we're talking about charts and graphs, if you could remember, you remember that we talked about some of these charts being very suitable for some of these tasks also. So you want to probably look at a trend over time. Your line chart will be your friend. You want to say you want to look at percentage of each of your data feature. A pie chart might be a good one. So you have to be able to choose appropriate chart types based on your data and the insights that you are trying to look for. So not all charts is suitable for every kind of data interest. Dashboard layout. Arrange components logically for easy navigation and comprehension. So you don't want to have a part of your dashboard by your left and the continuation of it by your down right and then your slicer in the middle. It should not be scattered. It should be properly arranged in a way that will enhance navigation and good understanding of it by someone who is not part of it when you are doing the analysis, by someone who is not part of your technical team. Interactivity. Some of the things that could help you to actually get your dashboard very interactive is to add a slicer to it, sometimes to add filters to it, sometimes scroll bars for user interaction. All of this, there are also more, from where all of this comes from. So here you can use any of these options and you can actually get a very good result. Are there any questions that anyone would like to ask before we move into the practical part of things? Any question at all? Hello, is anyone with me? Are we together?
Yes, I'm with you.
No questions from my side.
All right. No question. That's good to know. All right, so we'll continue from here. Okay. So let's start building our dashboard. And as we go, like I said again yesterday, this data is one of the data that I came across, back then when I was trying to get to understand how to build dashboard within Excel. And I believe that is actually a very good data that could be used. So I did not prepare it. It's not an original data. It's just a data I get somewhere. I can't really remember. I think somewhere probably online, Google, or maybe on YouTube or somewhere. So we are going to be using it, to build our dashboard. Now, the first step you want to do is to be able to format. Actually, there are some formatting that already gone into place with this particular data because already they've added currency to it. Ideally, well, some data also come with currency. So let's just assume that it does come with currency. All right. So we have country within our data. We have the different products. We have the units of the products that is sold. We have how much revenue that actually comes with it. We have the cost, we have profit, and also we have debt. All right. Yeah, definitely I can do that. I can send the data. I'm not sure it's saved. Okay, just give me one moment real quick. Let me do that very, very quickly. Okay, sorry, I'm coming. Let me just save it first. All right. Okay, so it's sent. Sent. All right, cool. I've sent it already. I hope you're able to get it. So while we start, one of the first things you want to do when you have your data is to first of all clean your data. Like I said, this data has been cleaned. Please remember to use the example we had yesterday in case there is anything like that within your data. Some of the steps you can take to clean your data is to first of all delete or fill in your missing values. If they are missing, if there are empty rows, empty columns, take care of them. You might have to retitle your headers to something meaningful to the course that you're trying to do, all of which has already been done within this data. So the first step to take is to actually convert this data into a table. So we are going to say what? Insert table. Like I always said, my table has headers, so you have to keep to it. Filter the table. There is no need filtering the table. Just let's use the old table to be honest. And then it's already been converted into a table now. After converting it into table, we also need to title it, let's say sales data. All right. Okay. The reason why that happens is most likely because I added space in between. All right. That's most likely the reason why you see the error message. Now that I close the space, you can see that the name is properly renamed. All right. Okay, so the filter table the table has just been inserted into the data. We've not really filtered anything. We just don't want to filter the table. When you filter the table, it's the filtering sometimes can remove some information, keep some information that is perceived as important by Excel. So I'm just going to do that real quick, but please, if there's anything also from now, we might have to wait till we upload it on YouTube. So what I did was basically to insert it in form of a table, which has already been done. You can see that the table option is no more here. It's because it's already in form of a table. So ideally, when you click on insert and then you click on table, you can save filter table as part of your options. If you don't want to filter the table, you can just remove it. If your table has a header, you let it know. If it doesn't, you uncheck it, and then that is it. So now the next thing we want to do now is to actually insert pivot table so that we can make use of the data in form of a pivot table. So we'll do the same thing that we always do, sales data, and then we use a new worksheet, all right? And from there, what do? We okay. And now we are on a pivot table interface. Now, let's assume that there are three key KPI, there are three key performance indicators that we want from this particular data. Let's say, for example, we want to calculate, say we want to check profit by country, all right? And then we want to check profit by cookie, and we want to check units sold each month. Now, if you are building a dashboard, all right, you need to have a page for your dashboard, a clean page, to be honest. All right, let's rename this to dashboard. Okay, let's rename it to dashboard. Now, don't forget, we want to do 3 key things from our data. We want to check profit by country. Okay, we want to check profit by cookie, and we want to check units sold each month, units sold of each of the products. So now what we usually do is that we'll copy, this sheet, this pivot table sheet, and paste it in 2 different areas. Okay. So Control C, Control V. Okay, I think the version of this is also like causing a problem for that. So what we just probably do is let's start the first one, so we'll be able to copy with data inside it, and then we're going to be doing whatever it is we want to do after that. But ideally, we are meant to be able to copy. I've copied, but it's actually not pasting, which is very strange. All right, so, or another thing we could do is we could also come here and also to create pivot table again, use a new sheet. All right, and then it should give us a new sheet. Let's delete this one out of it. Okay, so we could also still come back and then the same thing that we did. The reason why we are doing this new sheet is because we are looking for 3 different KPIs within our data. Now, we could do it in such a way that we might not necessarily have to create different pivot table. We might just have to create the chart, and then after copying one, you delete. But that does not always gives clean sheet. Like, it doesn't give a very good detail. So now let's rename each of our sheets to the KPIs that we want. So we say again that the first one wants to check profit by country. Let's rename this to profit by country. So let's do profit by country. All right. We also want to use, which other one did we say? I think we mentioned profit by products. All right. So let's rename this to profit by products. Profit by products. Or, most of the time, product might not exactly make sense, because, say, for example, we are talking about a firm that probably has more than one type of product, and one of those products is cookie. And because our data is a cookie data, so let's just say profit by cookie instead of profit by product, so that it makes more sense. All right, let's say profit by cookie. All right. Then the other thing we want to also then look is, we want to look units sold for each month. All right, units sold for each month. So let's rename this to units sold per month. Sales per month. Now, what we are going to be doing here, all right, is that we are going to be querying, we are going to be building our pivot chart based on our pivot table, which is going to be converted into dashboard. All right. Okay. So now the first one is profit by country. Now we have the different what's it called here? We have our different data point here, and we want to look for profit by country. Can someone tell me which of these data, column, which of these parts of the data is important to actually use if you want to check out profits by country? Someone please give us suggestions. You can drop it within the chat. So we want to calculate, we want to check profit by country. We want to actually visualize our dashboard. A part of the dashboard that we want to see is profit by country. Which of these features of the data do we think is going to be useful to actually do that? Don't forget, we have country, we have products, we have units sold, we have revenue, we have cost, we have profit, we have dates. So which of these options do you think will be useful to be able to actually get profit by country? Let's keep it coming. So which of these options do we think is important to use? Let's get suggestions. I'm sure that we have cost. Okay, someone says cost. So let's assume that we have the cost. Where are we supposed to put the cost? We have the cost table column B. Let's say you put it here. Okay. So what else? Which other part of the features is going to help us to actually check out profit by country? Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. And this is part of the things that I was mentioning, that for you to even be able to get anything out of your data, it has to be in line with the purpose and the goal of the analysis. Someone says products. Okay. So are we using, if you already put our cost in the value area, the product also is supposed to be in the value area. All right. So we have cost, we have profit. Are these the only ones that we need? Do we need more, or do we need to take away something out of this place for us to be able to do profit by country? Please, you can unmute your mic and also, let's have a conversation. All right. In the absence of nothing being said, always remember, you must have formatted your data in a very understandable way that could help you to get whatever you want to get out of it. Now, if you're looking for profit by country, now we have a profit column. We also have a country column. The most important thing for us to be able to get that part should be, oh, sorry, you said products. Oh, I thought you even said profit. But basically, the most important thing for us to get profit by country would be to use the profits and the country. So put our country in rows, put our profits, in the values. Now, one thing we can see from here is we can see each of the country and how much profit they bring in every month. All right. So another thing we could do is we could actually I'm trying to check the cell. I want us to format it. Oh, we tried it yesterday. We were not able to do that because of this version. Oh, okay. That's really not nice, because one thing I would have loved us to do is I would have loved if you are able to, let's take a look at the option. We don't have it. If you're able to arrange it based on the most profits to the least profit. and we don't even have that. Oh, that's not good enough. Oh. Okay, so we are just probably going, okay, sort, I think, yeah, descending order, I think we should have it here. So let's look at it. 606 is more than 595. Okay, so we are able to get it. So now what we did here is that we actually arrange, the profits in order of how much it is. So now we know now that India actually has the highest profits for our business, followed by the United Kingdom, followed by United States, followed by Malaysia, followed by Philippines, and we have our grand total here. Now, the next thing we are going to do is that we are going to try and put this into a form of chart. All right, a pivot chart where we are going to actually be able to view what we actually have here. Okay, so let's try to insert charts into this. Okay, can someone tell me what kind of chart is going to be proper for this kind of data? Please, you can unmute your mic and then let me hear from you. What type of chart do you think that is proper for this type of data if we want to look into it? Let's have it. Let's have it. I think bar chart. Okay. Does anyone also have another suggestion? Okay, so let's try the bar chart and see how it looks. Ideally, you must know what works and what does not work. And to be honest, I actually believe that bar charts for this particular type of data is actually a good choice of data or a good choice of charts. So now we have our profits, based on each of the country. Now we can also do a little bit of formatting with this first. One thing we want to do is first of all rename. You don't want to have total. What we want to see is what profit by country. Okay, so you can rename it to profit by country. Profit by country. All right. Now, another thing here is that we can, if you notice, you see that this actually sorts it from 0 to the highest. But the reason why, let's take a look at something. Now, in using this particular strategy, you can see that our x-axis is actually not giving us what we probably have wanted, because ideally the amount is supposed to be seen visibly. So we can also format this and change it into another type. So let's say we want to format the x-axis, and then we want the axis value or maximum axis value. We get, that's what we get. For axis value, this is what we get. And then for the automatic, this is what we get. What I'm trying to actually do here is I want us to use a vertical type instead of, oh, sorry. This is a vertical. This is an horizontal. And we could change that. Let's see the labels. Next to axis. Let's see what we have here. High, low, okay. So basically, we might have to play around a little bit. So this is still not looking like what actually. Are you able to hear me? Can you please confirm if you can hear me? Am I still very audible?
Yes, yeah.
Can you confirm? Okay, cool. So now we changed the chart type. The reason is because on the bar chart that we have, we could see that these numbers actually are on horizontal level and they actually entered into one another, which does not really work. I was hoping we were going to be able to format it, but that seems like a really long thing. So we changed the chart type, and this, this is much more cleaner. Now, other thing that we could do is to remove some of these areas, all these detail in terms of fields. Sorry. So let's hide all field buttons. Now that we've hide all field buttons, did you notice that this is much more cleaner? Does it look cleaner or not? Are we together?
It does.
Would we want you to have it this way on our dashboard, or would rather have it this way? Which one do we think is better and is more readable and is better?
The first one.
When we have this, right? All right.
Yes.
Okay. So can you give me, a reason, the reason why you feel this is better?
We can see the country very clear and the numbers as well, the profits. Not like the
All
other
right.
one that you can't see it clearly.
Yeah, you are correct. But now we have moved from the type of charts we were using before. Now, if you can see this sum of profit here, and you can see this country here. Now, look at the way the chart is now, and then let's remove them. Let's hide them. Which one do you think is better? This way or the way we have it before?
This one is better.
Why, please? Can you give me a
Because of
reason?
the profit, you can clearly see the what's it called, the range, and we can see the country clearly as well.
All right, but to be honest, it's
Huh?
also clear even from here. Don't you think it's also clear from here? Like
It's
anyone
clear,
can
yes.
also see this more.
Yes.
So what we are trying to do here is to reduce distractions.
Okay.
Now, if you present this to anyone, there are virtually little to no distractions. But if you present it to anyone, the person might actually be wondering, okay, what is sum of profit again? What is country
Okay.
again? Do you understand what I'm saying? And we all know that anyone who sees India, who sees United Kingdom, who sees United States, knows already that these are countries. Is that not
Yeah.
true? So
Yes.
automatically, yeah, you are trying to reduce distraction so that you can actually get the best, in your
Yeah.
dashboard. So let's hide all field buttons. Now, one of the things that we might do is if we decide that, okay, we want to probably change the font, we can change the font. Should we keep this font or should we change it?
And the font is okay.
It's okay. All right, cool. So what we are going to do now is we are going to copy this particular chart now, our profit by country. We are going to copy it and then paste it in our dashboard. Now we can adjust it, do whatever I want to do, in terms of how we want it to look. So let's say we just want to leave it this way. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just leave it here, for example. Let's leave it here. Okay, profit by country. So now let's also check profit by cookie. So now what are we supposed to do if you are checking profit by cookie? Can someone suggest what are the parts of the data that we can use to check profit by cookie?
The profits.
Profit, okay. Profit. All right. So which other one?
And cookies.
And cookies. Where would the cookie be? Definitely under the product. Okay. Definitely under the product. But we can also, like, let's assume that you don't even just want to check profit by cookie only. That I want to check our profit, by cookie with the revenue. So
Okay.
let's add revenue to this.
Okay.
Okay. And then what we see here is we see how much revenue that is generated, how much is the profit from the revenue generated, and the total amount. Do you understand? So we want to check the revenue from each of the products and how much profit we actually make from each of them. Okay. And since we are most concerned about the profit, it's best to still change our profit into descending order. So now we see that where we had the most profit is through chocolate chip. And the revenue we had from there is actually 1691215. All right. So what I'm trying to say in essence is, for as long as you know what you want to do, there are times when you can even add different field based on what you are trying to get out. So now we are trying to check profit by cookie with the revenue. Okay. So let's assume that I want to also check something else, right? We can still like do the same thing. So for this particular one, all right, let's also try and build a pivot chart from it. Don't forget also that there is a whole lot of things we could do. I think we discussed about that in yesterday's pivot chart and how we can actually filter a lot of these things. Say, for example, we don't want to see all of the cookies, all of the products, just want to see 3 or 2. We can do that. If we don't want to say, for example, if you don't want to see the sum and maybe you want to just check the counts, we can check counts or average, maximum, minimum, whatever it is that you want to take a look at. We can do that. So you can filter based on whatever it is that you are interested in. But in this case now, let's insert a pivot chart for this. Which chart do we think is going to actually be better for this particular course? Which charts do you think would be nice for this particular course? Don't worry, we can try it over and over again, actually. We can try column, we can try whichever one you feel is okay. We can even try combo, And this one, the combo is actually a really nice one too, because you can actually mix the two together, where you can use a clustered column for the sum of profit, and then you can use the line chart for the sum of revenue. We could actually try that. Might be interesting to see.
Let's try that then.
So, but again, like we always say, please don't forget. Okay, don't forget that you can always, take a look at these things in different ways. So let's see what we have here. Let's try it. Okay. So now, can you understand what we have here? Can you just let me know what it is you're looking at? Can you explain it to me? Now, you cannot be able to use a chart or a graph or even build a dashboard if you do not understand how to read your data within your visuals. All right. Now, look at the legend area here. It says sum of profit is in blue. All right, which means the sum of profit is this, which means that our profit axis, y-axis is actually the numbers that we have here. Okay, the numbers that we have here. Then sum of revenue is actually the line. And then for the line, these are the amounts for the revenues that we also have here. Okay. But if you ask me, this is actually not a really good chart to actually use for this purpose. I actually believe that column charts will do a better job because column charts is going to make it easier and also better to understand. All right. So let's just change our chart. Let's just use our column chart. We use clustered column here. We could actually use even the stacks column, but let's use clustered column. This is much more easier to understand. Now, if you look at this, you see that on this side, we only have our y-axis and our data point on one side. And each of these data says for chocolate chip, since sum of profit is actually the blue and sum of revenue is the green. So for chocolate chip, we have what? We have the blue. We have 100,000 for the profit, while we make 100 and while we made 1.6 million. All right. So we had a profit of 1 million. That's what you're getting. So for white chocolate, you have a profit of around 400,000 plus, and then a total revenue of around 900,000. All right. So it is very, very important that you are able to read your own chart to understand what is there, so that it can also help you to get informed as to what might be the best form of charts to use based on their own specific purposes. So now, like we did earlier on, we are still going to try and to reduce distraction. We'll hide all the field buttons, to reduce distraction in here. All right. And then, like we did earlier, we are going to also do what? We are going to also copy and put on our dashboard. We're going to copy and put on our dashboard. So, sorry. And before we even do that, it might be nice. There's something we did not do. We are actually supposed to give it a title. We did not give it a title. All right, we did not give it a title. So ideally, what we'll do is to add chart elements, and then we'll add a chart title to it. Above charts, in the center. And then what will this our title be now? It's going to be profit by product and revenue. Let's say profit by products. By products and revenue. All right. Profit by products and revenue. And then on our dashboard, we can as well delete this and recopy from here. Control C, come to our dashboard, paste. and then paste. Now, don't forget that we mentioned something the other time. And one of the things that we mentioned is good formatting in terms of alignment with whatever it is you're trying to do. All right. So one of the things you're going to be trying is to actually see how you can actually put all these things together, and then it's still going to help in a very good way. So let's say, for example, we put this way. I'm sure this is still going to be understandable and also readable as it is, looking at the numbers, so we could do this way and then align it here. Okay. So now we want to also look at sales per month, right? Sales per month. So let's go back to our sales per month area. Sorry, this should not be here. That must be a mistake. Profit by country. Oh, so that's what we did. So let's rename it then. We did our profit by country here instead of sales per month. So let's just rename it to profit by country. Profit by country. All right, so profit by country. The reason why we had the error was because another sheet is already titled the same thing. So let's rename this sales per month. Sales per month. All right. Then correct our profit by country to what it's supposed to be. All right. So now our sales per month now, how do we do that if you're actually to do sales per month? Can you also give a suggestion? Sales per month. How do we do that? No suggestion? Okay. So sales per month, we want to know how much you make every month. So one of the things you could do is actually to look at the units sold. All right. The units sold. Okay. And then the product on the row. And then we could put our dates on the column area. So what you have here is, oh, okay, the date is actually not even it's not per month. So this is just sales per day. So I'm guessing the data does not actually, let's see, up until 2020, 2019. Okay, yeah, it says per month. So September, October, November. Oh, okay, yeah, says per month. That's correct. So that's good. Now, this is our sales per month. All right. So we have, let's reduce it so that we can be able to see everything at once. So we have our sales per month. In September 2019, this is the amount of chocolate chip that we sold. This is the amount of fortune cookie that we sold. In December 2019, so if you want to actually take a look at anything here, you can actually do it real quick. Do you understand? So in this case, we can still like go and then check our pivot chart, insert pivot chart. Okay, I think we need this to get off of our screen. All right. So we can insert pivot charts like we've always done. There is already, I'm sorry, just insert charts. So, insert charts for this. So there are different types we could use. For this one, I believe that a line chart would actually be much more proper. And now we have each of the months. Let's just say, because this is actually a little bit more. Instead of doing sales per month, let's do just sales per unit sold per product. All right, we've done profit by, so let's do sales per. Okay, so we can remove this date so that it doesn't get really, really jam-packed, and we actually need the date there. So let's do, we also need the product. Let's take a look at something real quick and see what we have. The product is not part. Okay, so let's now put the product. I think this makes more sense. Sorry, not profit, product. I think this is a little bit easier. So we can see each of the products, just 5. So the chart for this one should not be as clumsy. Let's take a look at it. If it's still very clumsy, we might just have to okay, I think this is a little bit better. So I think this is actually better. All right. So let's adopt it. Now we can see that our legend has already stated which product is which color. White chocolate is represented by purple. Sugar is represented by red. Snickerdoodle is represented by yellow. Oatmeal is represented by green. Fortune cookie is represented by sky blue. And then chocolate chip is represented by blue. All right. While we can also see the dates. Now, where this will make more sense is when we already filter and we can use our slicer to actually check each of these when we are talking about the interactiveness. But in this way, this is still making sense. So let's quickly do what we usually do. Let's reduce the distraction, hide all buttons. Let's add um, let's add
Chart title.
Chart title. Yes, let's add chart title. So we should have that. Okay, I think we should have that. Yeah, it's supposed to be saying that. We saw it earlier. Okay, let's check one. So we're not getting it here. Let's just do it from here. Chart title is becoming. Okay, chart element. This is it. So add chart title, and then this would be sales per month. Sales per month. Sales per month. So yeah, then we'll also do the same thing we've always been doing. We'll do what we'll copy and put in our dashboard. Control V. Now, try and see how we can align it It's what we already have here. Try and align it. What we already have here. Okay. All right. So now, one of the things that we can do is to then add our, what's it called? Our elements. So, sorry. I just want us to understand. All right. Okay. So now we can then come and then add what? We can add slicers actually. So let's add a slicer. Chat to, I think the slicer should be here. So insert slicer. Now the slicer that we want to insert, what exactly is that slicer going to be doing? And what are the things that we want to actually put in the slicer? Don't forget that we have profit by cookie, profit by country, and then sales per month. So in this now, we'd like to add a country slicer, add a product slicer, and also add a date slicer. Because within all of the things that we've done, these are the three key areas that we are going to be using. All right. These are the two key areas we are going to be using. So let's add those slicers. This is slicer country. We can also like reduce it to fit into this area. And now in this area also, don't forget, we already know that we have country, we have this, we have that. Anybody, like I said, anybody who says India knows what country is, Malaysia. So in this case, it might be nice that we probably just remove the header. So to remove the header in this place, just go to report connections and then, no, sorry, we are not there yet. That's not it. Just go and then you can slicer setting and then you can uncheck the header here. All right. If you okay it, automatically the header has gone, then you can then arrange this, to put it in that line. You can do the same thing also for any of these two, so that it looks good. All right. Let's also remove the header for this. Let's remove the header for this. Let's uncheck the display header and then again put it to where it can be. All right. Okay. All right. So for this also, let's do the same thing. Let's also remove the header and then, okay. And then let's reduce it to something that can fit. And then let's bring it down here. All right. Now, Okay. We're trying to make sure that everything looks good. Okay. So, sorry, something. Oh, oh, okay. So that means these things are too small. We have to increase them. Okay, so something is wrong. Did we mistakenly remove something? Let's check our slicer setting again. So everything is okay. I'm just wondering why all the names and everything disappeared. That's very strange. So that shouldn't be. Let's just delete this ones and then try again. I really do not know what caused what happened, but let's just try again real quick. Slicer. So country, products, and dates. Okay. It's still the same thing. What could be wrong? Which means I hope it's not my computers. If I mistakenly press anything, this should have come back to what it's supposed to be. So I'm wondering why this is. See, there's nothing wrong, to be honest. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. So it's the way the part I put the zoom thing that is causing that. So sorry about that. We'll just quickly run it again. That's very strange. That shouldn't happen again. All right, let's quickly do it again. Do the same thing, remove the header real quick. Go back there. All right, and then take it to that place. Let's do the same thing here. Remove the header and then take it here. You do the same thing and maybe bring it down here. All right. So, okay, so now there's another thing we need to do. We realized that when we were actually setting all these slicer, we only use this. So let's say, for example, we wanted to look at just chocolate cookie for the countries. You can see that this has changed. But when it changes, other graphs does not change. There's a reason for that. That's because this is the one we used to set it. So for it to actually be applicable to all other graphs, we actually need to set that also. And how to set that is to go and report connection and then select all the pivot tables that we want it to actually be working with. So now we see what I'm saying now. Now let's check for Malaysia. You see that all of the figures are changing now. You see. Now, anytime I click on this one that I've set is the one that affects the three. Even if I click on any of these other one, it doesn't affect the three. That's because we have also not set them to actually affect the three pivot tables. So we are going to do the same thing with all those ones to actually set them so that anytime we do anything, it actually affects the pivot table, all of them. So you do the same thing with this, and then you can then do whatever it is you want to do. All right. So now anything you do now, let's say for example, I want to check for both India and Malaysia. So I select India, Malaysia, and Philippines for the three of them. And I want to check for only just oatmeal, sugar, and then white chocolate. Now you can see that all of them are changing. So now let's assume that for all of these, I want to check only for 2019. So I'll just pick all the dates within 2019. So I pick all the dates within 2019. And then you see that the information that is displayed to us is only from what has been selected within the slicer. And for this, actually, you can play around in a whole lot of ways. Another thing you can also do is you can also change the color. Say, for example, the color that you want, maybe like we said yesterday, your company probably have some brand color that are very specific and important. You can actually do that with your dashboard by just changing. Let's see what we have. Then let's see what changes here. There's a theme. I'm not sure this particular. There is supposed to be a theme area. I'm looking for it on this specific. Okay, let's look at, okay, theme. So now from here, we can actually change the theme. So whatever it is that I want to change to. So office angles, this is going to take a whole lot of our time. It's going to take a whole lot of our time. So don't let's even get into it. But basically, you can change the theme to whatever. Let's try one and let's see what happens. Can you see what I'm saying? Based on what has been selected, So let's say, for example, there's a specific theme that your company has, and then you want to change it. You can change the whole theme also, by this. Whatever it is that you just want to do, you can always play around whatever it is that you want to do. But for me, I think I'll rather choose another one, to be honest. Let me just choose another color. I think I prefer this kind of color. I think this makes more sense. All right. So, which means that at the end of the day, you can do whatever it is that you want to do with any of this option. All right. So let's just bring it back. Let's bring it back. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. So the fullness of it. Let's bring it back. So like I was saying the other time, again, whatever days that you choose, you get equivalent of whatever it is that you need to see. All right, so this is how you can play around. Then there's another thing also that you can also do. You know, if you want to actually present a dashboard to anyone, to be honest, and you have all these grid loops, it actually is not going to help as such. It won't help that much. So eventually you can also set, you know, remove the grid so that, you know, it looks more like, it looks really cool and it looks, you know, like a professional kind of work. So there's this, okay, view. So you can come to grid lines, can remove the grid lines. You look now that, you see now that it's looking much more cleaner, right? You know, it's looking much more cleaner now. And another thing you can do is you can also share. If you want to share to anyone, you can just share as PDF, or, you know, you can set whatever it is that you want to share as, and then you can create a link, you can do whatever, and you can also set whether you want the person to only be able to view, or you want the person to also be able to edit, depending on the collaboration or whatever it is that you want the person to do. And that makes sense. So now, so another thing we could do is, you know, when you want to send to people and then they have all of this data that they can check, it can also cause another issue. You want to ensure that you only have the dashboard section for them to actually take a look at. By doing that, you can just delete, you know, all of this. Just remove all of this. You can just remove all of them. I don't want to delete them, but ideally you can be able to remove all of them. Just delete all of these rows, and then to only remain this dashboard area that you can share and people can interact with. Do we have any question? Do we have any question at all? Hello there.
No.
Sorry?
No question.
No question. So everything that we did today, you can repeat it by yourself from start to the end. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I'm trying.
Correct, right? Okay. So now, in the light of no question, let's just quickly take our quiz for the day while we round up our session for the day. All right. So we're going to go to our quiz now. We'll go to our quiz. Please endeavor to join the quiz so that we won't have to waste time on that. So I'm waiting for us to join. Not all for me because I came in late. So sorry about that. You know, I'm sure if you watch the video when it's posted online, you should be able to catch up properly. All right, so I'm waiting for us to join the quiz. Let's join and let's have our quiz before we say bye for the day. And let's test our knowledge that we have on Excel dashboard building. Agbabia has joined. Let's have others also join. You have only 2 minutes to join, 3 more minutes to join. If you're having any challenge joining, please let us know so that we can probably walk you through it again. But I really do not think that should be an issue anymore. It's something we should be used to by now. So let's join. Let's join. We have 2 more minutes to kickstart the quiz for the day. Or do we only want Agbabiaka to be the one to test his knowledge of today's class? Oluwaseun has joined. Thank you. Let others also join. We have 2 more minutes to start the quiz. Let others also join. Okay, so we are going to go into it now. I think others can join us while we go. All right. Now, here we go. Don't forget that it's counting down. So we only have 20 seconds to answer each question. Okay. So Oluwaseun scored 6/10 within 2 minutes 36 seconds, and Agabiaka scored 4/10 within 2 minutes and 4 seconds. So it shows that for this particular topic, we still need to go back, look at the class again, and then maybe do some reading up on it also, so that we can have a good understanding of the terminologies. But at least this is still a very, very good try for the first time, at least, So yeah, today's class has come to an end. Thank you. And tomorrow is going to be our last day. It's important that we come early so that we can look through with all of the things that we've been teaching, and then also see what we can get out of the class for tomorrow. I encourage you to be there. For this particular course, this particular class, it's obvious that we still need some more knowledge, to be able to grasp all the concept and everything. And I know that I think Udmari, there is an advanced course, that can also help in terms of data analytics generally, especially even with dashboard, that can give us more in-depth understanding of dashboard. Please try and look out for them, and then if you can actually enroll with any of these things, I promise you're going to actually enjoy it. So yeah, that's it. Have a very good day, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.